Hey everyone, this is Joseph. I just wanted to start off the show by reminding you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a mental health platform. No, I'm fucking with you guys. We don't have any sponsors. Um, I just wanted to start off the episode with telling you all a couple things. First and foremost, when me and Emilio decided to record this, we did it in person and we decided to get drunk because we were reviewing The Nice Guys. And classically in the film, Ryan Gosling is a babbling drunk. So that's what we decided to emulate. So there are portions in which we get off track and we're kind of just watching the movie instead of talking. So I made sure to edit out portions where there's a lot of dead air, but still, we get off track. So it's a little sloppy, but hey, whatever. I think it's still pretty funny. Second thing is that our audio did mess up a tiny bit. So I had to use the raw audio that is not compressed and that's recorded off of our Wi Fi directly. So there are some portions where my audio sounds not the best. It skips over just a tad bit and it could be a little annoying. So I just wanted to warn you about that. But otherwise, I think it's another classic episode. Me and Emilio did it again. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. And we hope you enjoy the show. There's something about him. I feel like it's me. I'm looking right at him. He's literally me. Welcome to another episode of Literally Him, a deep dive into Ryan Gosling's filmography. I'm your co-host, Joseph.
And I'm your co-host, Emilio.
Okay, everyone. We are live. This is our first live episode. We're recording this at Emilio's house, and if you hear a humming in the background, that's because it's hot as fuck. So we have the AC on. Emilio, how are you feeling right now?
I have a tendency to like look at the laptop when you're like right next to me, which is weird. But sorry. I like this. This feels right. I feel like this is where this is going to go down later on down the line.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, it's so funny because like right before this, me and Emilio were out at a brewery, we're like having a drink, and it's never hard to talk to you right now looking at you with the microphone.
Yeah, it's so odd. It feels weird.
All right. Well, we're reviewing The Nice Guys today, a movie that came out in 2016, and it's also a great like drinking movie. There's a lot of drinks served in this movie. So Emilio made us some drinks. Emilio, what'd you make us?
I made my personal favorite. If you've had the opportunity or mistake of hanging out with me at home, I usually go for a vodka and Gatorade just because it's easy to drink. Vodka is not vodka. Oh shit! That shot's already kicking in right now. Gatorade is just something sweet to mix with vodka, and it has a super small amount of electrolytes in it. So most of the time when I drink this, I'm not hungover. So Joseph's drinking a lime cucumber vodka, and I'm having a glacier freeze vodka.
It's a really good combination. I would have never like thought. It's funny to be like hydrating yourself and like drinking at the same time, but like I always feel weird when I get a vodka soda because that feels very similar.
Yeah,
and it also feels like a true alcoholic's drink besides just taking a shot.
I think like anything with like liquor and like soda is, I think people look at you like, oh shit, this guy drinks. Like for sure.
I remember when I was like doing like a hardcore calorie deficit, I would order those and I'd always get looks from bartenders and they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's actually why I drink this. Like, I always tell people I work with, I don't drink at home, which I really don't. I only drink at home when I have people over or if I'm at someone else's house. But this is pretty calorie conscious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which just means I have an eating disorder.
You also got picked up popcorn or chips that are like famously
Yeah.
like super low cal at the 7-Eleven we
I was
stopped
like, oh, I
by.
need a snack. And I picked up sea salt fucking popcorn.
It was between this and Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I feel more comfortable looking at the screen right now. Every time I look at you, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Why is he looking at me?
I wanted to ask up top. So, like we talked about last time, Emilio works at a brewery, and this movie deals a lot with alcohol. It's a big thing that fuels the narrative. And I wanted to ask Emilio, have you ever dealt with like unruly patrons? Has there ever been anything notable that's happened to you while you've been working with someone who's been too drunk?
I've had to cut people off before. As a bartender, when I was doing security at the brewery, I've had to pretty much turn people away. I think the weirdest interaction I've had turning someone away, I've actually had two. One guy was obviously not the person on the ID, and he just kept saying like, "No, dude, like that's me."
He was like underage, or
he just didn't have an ID on him, and he had what I assume was his dad's ID, because this guy kind of looks similar to the person on the ID, but just way older and way heavier. And so he showed me that, and I just said, "Dude, I can't take that." And he was looking at me, and he said, "Oh, I got surgery." Yeah, he said, "Oh, I got surgery. I got some fat taken out of my neck."
Okay.
And I was like, "Dude, like, come on, like that's not you." And he's like, "Come on, bro. Like, you're really not gonna let me in? Like, are we really gonna have a problem here? Like, that's me. Like, are you discriminating me?" And I had to get another security guard to come out, and they did the same thing. They looked at the ID and was like, "Dude, this is not you." And then I guess because I got someone else to say it wasn't him, like he just cussed us out and got pissed off and stormed off. And then another time, these two guys to try to come in, and this guy had his prison ID.
Oh, fuck.
So he had just gotten out of prison.
Okay.
And he presented the prison ID, and I was like, well, this is like government issued, but this isn't a legit ID.
Uh-huh.
So I got someone else to come over, and they're like, yeah, like we can't take this. And the guy started saying, like, where are you guys from? Like, where are you guys from, dog? Where are you guys from? And I just said, well, I mean, we're at Arts District, so we're from Arts District.
I'm from Montebello, California.
I was like, we're from Arts District. He's like, okay, all right. You guys are funny, huh? And we're just both like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Jesus
And he's
Christ,
like, okay, what time do you guys get off of work? And we both said, we get off at 2 a.m. He's like, okay, all right. Like, we'll be here. Like, we'll be around. And we're both like, okay, all right. And I remember me and my friend, we both walked out of the brewery and we're like, fuck, do you think he's waiting for us? And we walked out and like no one was there. And I was like, oh, okay. And I do get berated by people when I'm serving them drinks, or if I have to cut them off. They just get mad.
Yeah.
I mean, no one likes getting cut off.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever experienced that ever, but I think I would. I mean, I've never been one to cause waves, like ever try to fight anyone or get into some type of altercation. But if someone were to tell me like you're cut off, I'd be super fucking embarrassed.
Yeah. I've been cut off. Yikes. I've been cut off like 2 times in my life. And both times I was just like, oh fuck, like really? And they're like, yeah, sorry, dude. Like I have to. And I was like, oh shit. That's crazy because I work at a bar. Damn, that sucks. So I must be really fucked up then. And they're just like, yeah, sorry, dude, we can't serve you.
So I want to ask you next. We're dealing with Ryan Gosling, and he's doing such a great comedic performance in the movie we're covering today, The Nice Guys. Do you think his character would react well to being cut off?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. I think, or actually, shit. Because there is a lot of comedic elements to that character
Mhm.
that I think are exaggerated because of the film that it is.
Yeah.
So like I can picture him getting cut off and being like, "Oh, okay." And then he'll find the back closet or the cooler and start stealing shit and
Yeah.
drinking that way.
Yeah.
Or I'm thinking of him as the more grounded character kind of at the beginning of the film where he'll just be like, "Oh, okay, well I'm just going to go drink at home then."
Yeah. I think you would do something funny, like come back with like glasses on or some shit, and then try to
Oh
order
yeah,
something else.
that's true. He'd probably do that, or he'd probably start screaming.
Man, I just want to say this movie is such a good time. I love this movie so much. The first time I watched it was maybe like, I want to say like 5 years ago. I watched it for the first time with Caro, and I think when two people can agree that something's really good, two people that have like somewhat different like taste preferences, and they both can agree something's good, I think that's a sign of quality. And oh my god, Amelia just turned on the TV.
Sorry.
And yeah, I really enjoyed the movie a lot. Um, the first thing that stuck out to me is that when the movie starts, it has the Warner Brothers logo, and it's like a cool '70s logo, and I think that really sets the tone. What was the first time you watched it?
The first time I watched it, I actually saw it in
Oh
theaters.
shit, cool.
Um, I really wanted to watch this movie.
Okay, so Emilio has been obsessed with Ryan Gosling a lot longer than I have. Where were you with your obsession at this point?
It was still pretty fresh. It was still pretty. Like I heard about the movie and I saw the trailer and I saw Ryan Gosling. I was like, I have to see this movie.
Yeah.
So I think I remember not buying tickets super in advance, but I did pre-order tickets a week prior.
Uh-huh.
And I remember telling my then girlfriend at the time, like, we're not missing this movie. Like, we have to go see this movie. And yeah, it was actually a really great experience watching it in the theater.
It's so funny that you bring that up because something that's really notable about this movie that we've talked about in a previous episode is that commercially this was a huge fucking bomb. It
Yeah.
did not do well, and you brought up that it lost out to another movie, which was an animated movie, and I believe you said it was Trolls.
I
And
think it was Trolls.
some type of animated movie, but it's just such a shame because these movies I like hold really near and dear to my heart. When I was a kid growing up, watching comedy movies, especially action comedy movies, were like the funniest things ever. Have you ever watched a movie called it's called Hot Shots with Martin Sheen? It's like an '80s movie. It's an action movie. They make fun of like Rambo and shit like that. Um,
No.
and like those type of movies always made me laugh. This movie also made me think of Pineapple Express when I was a kid, and watched that in the movie theaters for the first time. That made me laugh so much. And then coming back to this shit made me laugh so hard. I think it's such a great movie, and it's such a shame that it didn't do well in the box office.
I should admit something right now. While Joseph's been talking and I've been responding, I think that shot of vodka kind of kicked in because I was trying to look up The Nice Guys
Okay.
on HBO because
Yeah.
I could have sworn that was the last place I saw it, and it turns out it was on Netflix, and I was having a little, I was having a little bit of a panic attack right now because I was like, oh fuck, what does this guy think I'm looking up behind the scenes?
And the whole time when Wheeler was doing that, I knew exactly what he was doing. So I was trying to vamp for him. Just wait for him to look it up. But he's on it. He's on Netflix now. He's typing in N. He's going on to I. All right. So while he does that, I just want to break down the first scene of the movie. Immediately, we cut to Los Angeles, and it's the '70s. And you see the Hollywood sign, and it's like really torn up. And then you cut to a family's house, in this family's house, this little boy who's about maybe like 10 or 11 swipes his dad's porno mag, and he's checking out the magazine, and then there's a okay, just started the nice guys right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to pause it.
There is a on the centerfold. There is a model named Misty Mountains, and suddenly a car crashes through their house. And then the kid goes to check out who crashed their car, and lo and behold, it's Misty Mountains that has crashed her car, and she dies. And that is the start to the movie. Do you remember seeing that part in theaters?
Yeah, it's kind of funny and a little cheesy how, because she dies, like, doesn't she die on the car or like on a rock or something, and she's positioned like kind of like how she was in the magazine,
in the centerfold. Yeah, so
yeah.
she's like spread out in the centerfold, and then the kid's holding it up, and then it pans to her, and she's like spread out the same way, but this time she has like blood all over her.
Imagine how like exciting and how traumatizing that is for that kid. Like, he was like, holy shit, I now I'm seeing this naked woman that I saw on a centerfold in real life. Like, this is awesome. And then the horror of like, oh god, she's dead.
He probably has like some type of weird kink after that. He probably grew up not a sane person.
He's a grave digger.
That's probably sad, but that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what
He hangs out the mortuary now. Or then she says that line, how do you like my car, big boy?
Yeah.
That's just such like cheesy
it's
detective.
It's very funny,
shit.
but it is funny how it just connects back at the end. So so me and Emilio have been drinking. We're gonna try our best to give you a rundown of the movie. We're not gonna hit on every point. I want to tip my hand already. I love this movie, and I think you guys should all go watch it. Right. Emilio, tell us the synopsis for the movie real quick.
Oh shit. So Holland March, played by Ryan Gosling, is a down-on-his-luck private eye in 1977 Los Angeles. Jackson Healy, played by Russell Crowe, is a hired enforcer who hurts people for a living. Fate turns them into unlikely partners after a young woman named Amelia, Margaret Qualley, mysteriously disappears. Healy and March soon learn the hard way that some dangerous people are also looking for Amelia. Their investigation takes them to dark places as anyone else who gets involved in the case seems to wind up dead, just like that woman, naked, dead in front of that little boy.
The movie was also directed by Shane Black, who has a lot of good credits. He worked on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in 2005. He worked on Iron Man 3, and he has such a good fucking background in action movies. He worked on Predator. He worked on Lethal Weapon. He worked on The Last Boy Scout. And so for him to take on this movie was like an action comedy that relates back to all those action movies in the 70s and 80s. Like, I don't think there was, I'm sure there would have been better. Oh God, I know what I'm saying. I'm sure there's better people, but he has such a background in it that he really makes it his own. It's really fun. The action is really stop and go, and the comedy is super, super funny.
I do want to point out that he did direct and I think he co-wrote the new Predator movie.
The 2018, yeah.
Yeah, which is really fucking bad. Don't watch that.
I omitted that. That's the first thing on his.
Yeah, it's the first thing on there. Yeah,
IMDb.
It's like, because I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah,
I love the Lethal Weapon movies. And then The Nice Guys, obviously, and then his next one was The Predator, which was
shitty.
Yeah,
bad.
It was so bad. I have a friend of mine. Maybe he listens. His name's Diego. He also has a podcast called the Waffle Press, I think. But
shout out Diego.
He, like, we've talked about it because we both love this movie so much, and we talked about how we love Shane Black and his writing, and we were just both like, yeah, like that really sucked. That was like a pretty bad movie.
Yeah.
there was so much stuff that was supposed to happen and it just didn't happen. Like studio meddling got involved. But we both talked about the thing that really turned us off was the ending when they make
I don't remember the ending. What happens?
there's an ending part where they find this super weapon that the predators leave the humans, and it's literally an Iron Man suit, but it looks like a predator, and it's supposed to kill predators. And like a scientist is like messing around with it, and it literally latches onto him, and there's like this big CGI sequence where it grows and evolves on him, and he just turns into a mechanical, like a mecha predator.
When did the first Iron Man come out?
I think in 2008.
Okay, so they were fucking 10 years late on that shit. So that really sucks.
I just remember seeing that and I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this is a stupid movie.
So in the movie, we're introduced to Russell Crowe's character. It's Jack Healy, and he's a bruiser for hire. And we see that he is an older person, maybe like in his 40s or so. And he is really good at his job, but he has like no attachment. He has no feelings. And then we were introduced to Ryan Gosling's character, Holland March. And the first scene we see of him, he's waking up in a tub full of water, and he's dressed up in a suit. And he gets a phone call that wakes him up, and it's from his daughter, who's about like 12 or 11, reminding him that her birthday's coming up. So automatically you get the dynamic that Healy is smart, he's more wise, and he is tough. And then that Ryan Gosling character's Holland March is really dumb, a big time fuck up. But he is smart, but he has a lot of dumb luck. And so the way that they're connected is that Healy, Russell Crowe's character, gets hired by a girl named Amelia. And Amelia wants Healy to beat up Holland March, Ryan Gosling's character, because she's being followed around by him. What were your like general thoughts of the beginning? Which character between Healy and Holland March, which one did you feel more connected to right off the bat?
I don't know. I'm gonna let you take a wild guess.
I think it is kind of dumb to ask that question.
I was like, I saw, like
Russell Crowe, obviously.
Yeah. It was it sounds kind of stupid because I'm thinking about, because I just rewatched it today, but I'm thinking about when I first watched it, when Ryan Gosling's character kind of pulls up in the car and he's getting gas, and he's like shaving his neck, like trying to like get clean. And I was like, oh, this guy's so funny. This guy's cool. I like him.
He has such good comedic timing. I do love him a lot in this movie. And it's just so interesting to me because the way that excuse me, I was going to call him Holly. The way that Ryan Gosling got famous in the first place was doing dramatic roles, romantic roles. The past two movies we just covered, both of them are dramas. And then suddenly he took this big turn. I don't know if this was his first like comedy thing, but he just fucking kills it. He's so funny in this. And I think this was the first movie that made me realize that he has really good comedy instincts. He is really funny.
I think his first comedy role was Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then after that, he had that small part in I'm blanking on the name. God damn it, fucking vodka.
But
it's called
The
Big Short.
The Big Short. But when that come out, was that? I think that might have been after this movie.
No, it came out prior to this, maybe. Yeah, 2015.
Damn. So, okay, then The Big Short. But of all these movies, I think this is the first role where he's completely playing a person who is a loser. Like, you see his character Holden March, and he's just funny from the start. He never has a moment where he's taken seriously. Even the times where he does do a good job at being a detective, he's still just stupid, and people doubt him the whole time.
I think it's because, like, also it's mainly how his character is portrayed is that he has like these moments of genius or these moments of like, oh, I know what's going on. But I think the way he carries himself, because I think I'm gonna get pretty deep right now, but how like he's kind of like numb to everything because obviously he's drinking throughout most of the movie.
Yeah.
Like people look at this guy like, oh, this dude's just a fucking alcoholic. Like,
Yeah.
like he can't like figure this out. He doesn't know
Mhm.
what's going on. But then there's so many moments where he's actually putting all the pieces together.
Yeah.
But sometimes he's like too drunk to like say it. Because I think there's one scene later on towards the film where he's like, "Oh, it's like this is what's going on."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Wait, what?" And like, then he just like explains it, like
It's a
babbles on about it.
it's a scene where he's getting berated by Russell Crowe's character and his
Yeah,
daughter, and they're
yeah.
both saying, and then his daughter has his daughter's played by, her name is Holly March in the movie, but her name, the actor's name is Angori Rice. She's also in she's done a number of things, but she's also in Mayor of Easttown. That's an
Oh yeah,
HBO
that's right.
show. She's fucking awesome in that
That's a
show.
really good show too.
I
That's
love
a
that show.
fantastic show.
She's really good. And in this movie, she's really good too. She plays like the smart kid who keeps her dad on top of shit, and she does a really good job. So in that scene you were talking about, she also breaks down finally and just says like, "You're a fuck up.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what you're doing."
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then suddenly he just blurts out like, "Actually, no, I put everything together," and he's correct about it.
He's just drunk, unfortunately.
I think the part that really got me invested, I mean, the start of the movie is really fun, but the part that gets me finally locked in and invested in this movie is when they decide to team up. Healy interrupts Holland's daughter's birthday party that's happening at a bowling alley,
Yeah.
and he wants to hire him to go find Amelia because suddenly he can't contact her and he kind of gets worried for her. So he hires Holland, and the scene is very funny. I noticed in the scene that Holland, Ryan Gosling's character, or Ryan Gosling, wants to laugh as he's saying funny stuff, and he's kind of smirking when he delivers lines, just slightly, just a little bit. And I think that's fine when I like the person, but if I don't like an actor and they start to break a little bit, that kind of annoys me. Like Jimmy Fallon, for example.
Oh well, that guy's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's an easy take to have because now everyone fucking hates Jimmy Fallon, but that did sort of remind me a little bit of like Jimmy Fallon-esque. But I still like him in that scene. Oh fuck, wait, okay, Amelia's going through the movie right now. I'm gonna point out right before. So in the scene where we're first introduced to Holland March, he's trying to find this girl named Amelia, and we're going beat through beat, showing how he gets his job done. And one scene, he's like trying to get information from a local barkeep, and he decides to break into this bar to get information on Amelia. And so what he ends up doing is he breaks in and he smashes his hand into a window, and he ends up cutting himself really bad.
Yeah.
What do you think of Ryan Gosling's performance when he's trying to bleed and be funny at the same time?
I thought that was great. It was so funny. Like just the delivery of when he pulls out his hand, he's like, "Oh, that's a lot of blood." Like, I think like anyone else would be reacting like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he was buzzed or something, or hungover. But he's like, "Oh shit! Like that's a lot of blood. Oh fuck!" And next thing you know, like you're bleeding out because especially like I think it was his wrist.
Yeah.
So obviously either he called 911 or someone called 911. And I like how he's freaking out in the ambulance.
Like he's trying to
trying
leave.
to like hold him down.
Yeah. I think that's a scene that you could fuck up really easy if you're not funny. And he does such a good job. It's really funny. His delivery is really funny. Him trying to get out of the gurney as they're transporting him and he's bleeding all over the place is really funny. He does, yeah, I'm going to say this 1,000 times over, but he does a great job. Yeah, so Healy ends up hiring Holland to find Amelia because Healy gets he gets roughed up by two goons for hire that are trying to find Amelia. So what they end up doing is they try to find Amelia's boyfriend. Amelia's boyfriend is a cinematographer who makes movies, and they hear that his house burned down, and so they go to his house to go put the pieces together. Um, what did you think about the little boy who shows up and gives them more info about what happened to the house?
Um, I just like that interaction with that kid because he's obviously like some kid on the street that just knows, like he obviously knows what happened, like he knows something went down, and he's kind of playing into that. So he bribes them for like money at first, and they're like they finally pay up the money to hear something from him, and then after that, the kid starts saying like he's like, "You want to see my dick?" Like it's just like just comedy stuff like that, like so out of left field. Like how would anyone react to a little kid asking like, "Yeah, I got some information." Like, okay, here it is. Like, okay, you paid me. He's like, I mean, what else should I do for $20? You want to see my dick?
It's just very funny. Like that was the only I know when I watched this the first time, I just laughed, but watching it now as an adult, I was thrown back and thinking like, what the fuck? Like, gee, like that was the only part that really got to me that like took me out of the movie, but it's still really really funny.
There is a there's like two scenes that I did want to point out that were actually really funny.
Yeah.
Uh, obviously when Jack Healy meets March, and his daughter is like off playing, obviously,
Yeah.
and then she comes back, and then he goes like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to give you a rim job." And he goes, "Rim shot." And he looks around, and he's like, "Rim shot," because he's like, "What the fuck? Like, why are you saying that here?"
Yeah, his daughter misspoke.
And then obviously when they're in the stall, and now he like bought a gun after he broke his arm,
Mhm.
and he's shitting on the stall, and he's like, "Oh, this thing's gonna stay right here," and he's like, "Oh fuck," and he's like the comedic, like the physicality of it is like him trying to open the stall because he doesn't want Russell Crowe's character to feel like he can get the upper hand, but he keeps like slamming it open, and he's trying to pick up the gun, he's trying to pick up his pants. Um, those were super funny scenes.
There's a lot that goes on in this movie. Trying to break down the story is like a little difficult because so we have this girl that they're trying to look for named Amelia. Amelia made this pornographic film, and everyone involved in this film suddenly starts dying. But on top of that, the other story that's going on in this movie is that there's a lot of smog in Los Angeles during the 70s. And then we quickly find out it's because of these broken catalytic converters. So we're constantly going back and forth between all these different stories that are going on, trying to find Amelia, this porno film that she made, and then also the catalytic converters creating smog. So what ends up happening is that they end up going to this party, and at this party there's going to be a porno producer that worked with Amelia. So they want to the nice guys, Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, want to go there to question him. So they end up going to this party, and I really like this scene because there are so many extras in the scene. There are so many good costumes that they're all wearing. The
Yeah,
house in the background is so cool.
I think
Um,
this movie doesn't take place during Halloween, does it? It's just like some random like Hollywood costume party thing.
I don't think it does, but it's funny you bring that up because there are people like dressed up as mermaids. There's one guy dressed up
Yeah,
as Pinocchio. Uh, they have a band playing Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I think we're supposed to believe that it is Earth, Wind, and Fire. And so at this party, um, they end up finding this producer. Ryan Gosling has this, or Holland March has this dumb luck that he constantly has throughout the movie, where he's flirting with some stripper that's dressed up as a Native American, and she ends up shooting him because he says that he works in the movies, and he gets pretend shot, and he falls over and rolls down this big ass hill.
You know what's funny is I remember the exact lines from
Go, dude, go for
that
it.
part.
What did they say that for?
He goes like, he goes, shoot me. He's like, what? He's like, shoot me, fucking shoot me. And then like she pretends to shoot him. He's like, ooh, oh, and then he fucking flips back and falls over down the hill. Oh god, I hate that I know that.
I mean, but it's so funny. Like the whole scene is just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and then he finds the dead body of the producer,
yeah,
and I think he lands next to a tree, and then he gathers himself, and he's sitting there, and he's going like, "Oh, I'm okay, like I'm all right." And that woman fucks off because she was drunk or something. She was like, "Oh, okay, like my fun's over." And then uh I think he starts like lighting a cigarette,
yeah,
and then he finds the producer, and he can't like get the words out, and he's doing like this weird like slapping and like a breath, like he can't catch his breath, and he finally starts going like Haley, like Haley, like that part's so funny too. Like that's like another part of like how good he is comedically,
yeah,
because you like watching it, like you kind of know it's a bit,
yeah.
but he's just doing it so well.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like Three Stooges type shit where it's super old comedy, but he does it's really funny. He does a good job. Um so the next part that I want to point out is that so they find this dead producer. Now there's a dead boyfriend, a dead producer that are all connected to this film, and Amelia's still missing. Amelia's at this party. She decides to run away, and she gets warned by Healy's daughter. Her name's Holly, and they both end up running away. And they're getting chased by these two goons that attacked Russell Crowe's character. And it all ends up culminating in this one goon catching up to Amelia and Holly in the middle of the road, and you think it's like over, they're going to get caught up, and it's kind of scary, and then suddenly a random van runs over the goon.
Oh yeah.
And what's so funny that this movie does so good is they have random lines that they never come back to. Like the driver of the van, you think it's gonna be one of the nice guys, or like it's gonna be someone that's gonna come to save the day, but it's just some random dude that hit him. He opens the car door and he just yells out, "Oh shit!" and then he just gets the fuck out of there.
As anyone in LA would do, probably.
Okay, so after this scene, the cops show up. Amelia runs away, and we find out that Amelia's mom is in charge of the the Justice Department or something for the city of Los Angeles.
That's right.
And the mom ends up calling them in to her office. And we find out that Amelia's on the run because she was trying to expose her mom for covering up the pollution that's happening from these catalytic converters. So all these things are connected together. There's the porno film that Amelia made that was made to expose the catalytic converters that her mom is trying to cover up. So the mom ends up hiring the two nice guys to try and track down Amelia.
You know what I just remembered?
Uh-huh.
There's a part that is kind of weird, and even Healy points it out to the people that are participating in it, but they're watching a porno with
Holland's daughter.
Yeah.
Holly. Yeah, that scene that didn't age well at all. So like Holly sneaks into the party and she's with a bunch of guests, and then she's like watching one of the porno films, and Healy walks in and is like, "You should go home. We should get out of here." And it's supposed to be really funny, but it is super weird now watching it.
There's also a funny part when they're leaving the party because March's daughter gets kidnapped, and he gets in some random person's car to kind of drive off and get her back. and he has no control of the car. So he starts screaming because that's all he can do. And he rams into a tree,
Uh-huh.
and then he gets stuck and he starts going like, fuck, because he's so pissed. Um, yeah, but there's a scene, the dream sequence, where he's driving with Russell Crowe's character. Oh, there's also that one sequence that we did skip, which is they go to the hotel
Hmm.
that they believe that she's staying at, and they're in the elevator and they're going up in the elevator, and they get to the floor that they're supposed to get to, and some guy's getting like, there's two or three dudes getting shot up in the hallway,
Yeah.
and they literally both like look over and they're like, well, that's none of our concern. And they both get in the elevator, and as the shootout is still happening and they're going down in the elevator, they see like one body fall and like another body fall, and you can just, there's like a look that Ryan Gosling has in his face where he's kind of like trying not to, I'm assuming like not throw up or have a panic attack,
Yeah.
but he's just like, he has like this weird look of like, oh fuck, like what are we doing?
I think
Um,
I think like that's such a funny thing, and to establish that they are trying their best. They're detectives, but they're not fucking action heroes that are going to save the day. So it really establishes like they're just normal guys, like trying to
yeah,
fucking finish a job. That's it. But they are really funny. I also like that this is a good LA movie.
yeah,
They shoot in so many locations that are really true to where they say they're going to. Like when they end up at this Burbank hotel, that's an actual hotel in Burbank. When they go to they like shoot a lot in downtown. The protest happens at the whatchamacallit, City Hall in downtown. It's really cool. I think it just sucks that this movie didn't do good
yeah.
because of that. Like a lot of other movies don't get the big budget that this would have gotten.
I do like the that like there's like little like nods to things where in the scene where he's dreaming, Russell Crowe's character, he goes like, "Yeah, I got an ankle gun," and he just like pops up his foot, and there's like the ankle guns right there.
No.
Um, there's just like so many little nuances that happen throughout the film that you kind of do have to like pay attention to. I think that's like a thing that Shane Black does very well. Because in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, have you seen that movie?
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, I have seen the movie.
There's so many of those little like nuances too that you kind of do have to be paying attention to it to see them. There is a line in that movie that's me and my cousin Cruz uh always bring it up whenever we see each other. And the movie stars Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. And Val Kilmer tells Robert Downey Jr.'s character, he's like, if you looked up the word idiot in the dictionary, you know what you'd see? He goes, me? And he's like, no, the definition of an idiot, which is what you fucking are. just, that movie's funny too. I definitely recommend watching that movie as well.
I think it's shit. I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say. I hope this is going good. All right, let me look up my notes. I'll make sure your screen's on.
Well, it looks like Joseph needs a little refresher.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
I'll be right back.
Let me go ahead and hit pause. All right, and we're back. Okay.
Yeah, we never left.
Yeah, no, nothing happened. Maybe we didn't make more drinks. Okay, so
I made these kind of strong.
yeah, these do taste even more strong.
Oh, did you already take a sip?
I already did, yeah. Okay, so we're back. Took a little break.
Oh shit. Oh. Wow.
Emilio made more drinks. The next scene, the next progression in the movie is that the nice guys, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, get double crossed. And it turns out that Amelia's mom, who's in charge of the Justice Department, sent a hitman to go kill Amelia, who is in Mr. Holland, or what's his name, Ryan Gosling's character.
March.
Oh yeah, Mr. March is home, and at the house is not only Amelia but his daughter and a friend too. Yeah. What do you think about the scene, Emilio?
There's a really good there's a really good line. I don't know if it's specifically in this part or before. Oh wait. I think it is in this part. Yeah, where the sister is Holly's friend is there with Holly,
Mm-hmm.
and March comes in. He's like, I thought you guys were hanging out at Holly's. And she's like, oh yeah, but my sister went out with like a guy friend. And then March goes, my sister's such a slut. But yeah, this scene introduces Matt Bomber, who is the hitman that is sent to kill, I'm assuming, essentially all of them. And he has a really odd look to him in this movie. Like, kind of like, he has like a weird haircut, and he just has like this stone cold kind of face, but he does like this smile too.
Yeah.
And then there is this part that I do have it on right now, it's when he goes to his car because he realizes that he's gonna have to like kill all of these people in the house, and he pulls out a machine gun.
Yeah.
And he just starts blasting on the entire house.
I like that you point out his look. I think that is very reminiscent of 80s. Oh God, Billy just took a sip. He recoiled.
Yeah.
I think that's really reminiscent of 80s and 70s action movies where the bad guy is very pronounced, like their look is very pronounced. You can tell that this is a slimy, crazy, weird person. So I like that they did that. All the bad guys in this movies all have like a weird like vibe to them.
They do, like they have like real personality
Yeah.
to them.
And you can instantly tell that they're gonna be they're gonna do something weird or shady. So yeah. In this scene, the actions really stop and go, and this is a scene where the action's going full force, 100%. So he's trying to get to Amelia, but he doesn't get to her, and she runs away from the house. And then, lo and behold, Amelia's hitchhiking, and the killer walks up to her and just shoots her.
Oh
right
yeah, that's face. Right.
Which is so brutal for this movie because it's so funny and pretty happy-go-lucky. People do die in the movie, but Amelia, this character who we're supposed to care about, just dies outright in like the last 30 minutes of the movie. Is pretty crazy.
I would say there is actually like a lot of like brutal deaths, like just straight up like in your face. Like there's a guy who gets run over by the van.
Yeah.
There's Amelia's death.
Yeah.
Where she gets shot in the face by the assassin.
The producer died in the background.
Yeah, the producer. The first one wasn't too bad. Oh, that was funny.
There was also a lady that gets shot in the background when the two goons first show up to Healy's apartment. She gets just shot in the crossfire, and they never explain anything or go into like it's just in the background. That happened. Someone died, and it's so funny.
Isn't the effect like she gets shot in the shoulder and it's just like boom, like it looks like a big blood spurt just comes out of her. But it's just so funny how they never talk about it after that. Just like, yeah, she got caught in the crossfire and that's it. Those are just things you can't talk about, you know? Like if you're in a big, like if like dudes are invading your house and you're trying to get out of it, and your neighbor or someone, because I'm assuming that he lives on top of a club or something like that, or a bar.
He lives on top of a comedy club.
Someone gets shot and it's like, oh, well, we can't talk about that.
That's just what happens in LA.
A part of me wants to say that I would never go to the first car I see, but then also like maybe I would.
And it's funny because if you took the time to really look at where she died in relation to March's house, it's like it's not even a mile away.
Yeah.
Like she would have seen, I don't know. It's whatever. You don't want to point it once you get trying to point out the real logistics of a movie, then of course you're going to find holes everywhere. So just whatever.
there is there is a good uh this movie. What this movie does very well too is it builds background to
Yeah.
the characters,
Yeah.
because there is a scene right before that big shootout where March's daughter Holly is sitting in like a vacant lot, and that's where their original house was when um, March's wife and Holly's mother was still alive. But he got hit in the head on a on an investigative case, and he couldn't smell. So there was a gas leak, and the house blew up.
It's
So that's what they're. I think they also um they also poke at that too, where it's like you can't. Oh yeah, it's at the very beginning. He's like,
a
you can't smell that.
big plot point, yeah, that I forgot. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you can't smell.
Yeah, and like I think Healy's character is like, you don't smell that. He's like, no. He's like, what? You really don't smell that? No, I can't smell. You can't. You can't smell anything? No. You're a detective and you can't fucking smell. So like there was a thing, okay, like it was a whole thing that happened, and there's actually like it's funny in the moment, but then there's such like a dark
Yeah.
origin as to why he can't smell. Like this guy literally blew up his whole house because he couldn't smell a gas leak.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, that's a big plot point too. That's why he's a widower, because his he couldn't smell a gas leak, and then his house blew up, and his wife was in there. So that's why it's just him and his daughter.
I love their suits. I really like their clothing.
Whoever is the
Costume designer.
costume designer did such a good fucking job. Like, I think it's really easy to make 70s clothing look tacky and old and just silly, but they really stylized all the characters really well, and also made sure to dress them to their personalities too.
Yeah.
Healy's always in a leather duster. He looks cool and like he'll beat the shit out of you. And then Ryan Gosling's character is always in nice suits. But what's really funny is that his suits are always torn at the hand because his hand is broken when Healy broke it.
Yeah.
And they're always just such small details that are so funny throughout the movie.
You know, it's kind of like I always had this thought when I watched this movie, but Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling really do fit very well in like this time era.
Yeah.
Like even maybe like if it wasn't their characters but their look that they have, they fit really well.
Yeah.
Like some shows and films like try to put actors into like certain time frames, and it doesn't look like they fit well in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these guys like fit very well,
Yeah.
especially their characters' personalities and how they portray them.
Yeah, even the daughter too.
Yeah.
Everyone looks like they're up the era. Yeah, they did a good job.
I think the only other actor that can like do that is probably Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt too. Yeah, he does have like a timeless face.
He's in like 5 World War II movies.
So in the movie, they finally put together that this film that Amelia has been making that's supposed to expose her mom and how crooked she is still out there. And they put together that most likely it's going to be shown at an LA auto show that's going to happen the very same night that this killer escaped that killed Amelia. So they speculate that they should show up to this party, this big LA auto show, and most likely this film will be projected and it'll expose Amelia's mom as a crooked person who is covering up these catalytic converters that are creating a bunch of smog in LA.
There's it. Well, I mean, I have it on in the background right now, and it's when Tally confronts March and Healy's character, and she's basically telling them like, "I'm gonna kill you guys," and March is like, "What? No, like you wouldn't do this." And he's like, "Well, she just said she killed 2 other people." He's like, "But no, like this isn't who you are."
It is really funny that March's character, Ryan Gosling's character, falls in love with this person who is so crooked, but he still sees like the good in her. But it just speaks to how dumb he is that he can't even that she admits that I've killed 3 people before, like I've been a criminal, and still he's like, no, she's just misunderstood. And
Yeah, there's yeah, even like the part where he reaches for the ankle gun that he thinks Crowe has because of his dream, and he even says like, "Where's your ankle gun?" And he's like, "What ankle gun?" He's like, the one right here. Like this is where you were like, "Oh, like look, this is my ankle gun." He's like, "I never told you that shit." He's like, "Oh fuck, wait, was I dreaming that?" Like the realization out loud is so funny.
I think it speaks to like his character could have it together if he was coherent, but he's always just drunk and fucking falling asleep
Yeah.
and a bumbling idiot that he just fucks up every time. I also want to point out that there's a character named Chet who is the projectionist, and he's also the person who led Healy and March to the burnt down house where they got a bunch of leads. His dad in real life is fucking Val Kilmer, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were telling me about him earlier.
And now that we talked about how the director worked on Kiss Kiss
Oh,
Bang
he worked
Bang,
with
he worked
yeah.
with fucking Val Kilmer before.
Oh,
That's
that's
probably
a
how he got the
cool little.
job. Nepotism works,
Yeah, it
guys.
does. It really does. I wish I grew up in that nepotism bubble.
I wish my dad had connections.
um. Oh shit. Okay, so that's the character that's Val Kilmer's son.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I got a good look at him because I really want to see if there's a resemblance there.
He does look like him. I just saw him right now. I was like, yeah, that totally looks like him.
Okay.
So, what were you say?
I was gonna say I think this is one of the first films too where we see overweight Russell Crowe
Yeah,
in like a leading man role.
he looks great though. I think
He
like,
does. He looks good as like a bigger guy.
and I think that that just sucks that actors have to maintain such a physique. And I mean, I see him now. He looks very, he looks like a normal dude,
He
but he
looks
still
like my
looks
dad.
incredibly handsome. And he
Yeah,
does such a good fucking job selling that he's this tough bravado guy that's really smart. I do also want to point out that in this scene, in this movie, is Keith Davis. He
oh
plays
yeah.
one of the goons, and he is such a great fucking actor. He was in Dead Presidents. He does so many voiceovers in video games like Mass Effect, and I love Keith Davis. He's such a great actor.
He's in Saints Row too.
And Saints Row 2, he's also in Saints Row. That's true.
I love those movies. I love those video games.
He's very, very cool. So at the party, they're trying to find Chet to make sure that they can secure the copy of the movie that'll expose Amelia's mom and also solve the case and make sure that Amelia gets justice for being murdered. And what ends up happening is that they find the movie, but also Ryan Gosling's character gets held up by one of the goons. And the whole time he's pretending to be drunk. What do you think of his drunk, making sure that he's selling that he's drunk acting?
That's terrible.
It's terrible.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
It's supposed to be terrible, right?
When you're like belligerently drunk, like there's no telling how you're gonna act. I guess he plays it well that he's just like having like some type of mental crisis when he's drunk. Because I've seen a lot of people have very drunk episodes, and
me included.
actually, I mean, he does. I would say he plays it well for like what he's trying to do, which is act drunk and act like, oh my god, like what am I doing? Like, and yeah, he does play that pretty well. But like sometimes when you're watching actors play drunk, it's so hard to believe it because they're more outlandish about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, this dude is like a pretty good
fucking
top tier
Richard
actor.
Nixon joke is so funny in this.
He's a pretty good like top tier actor, so I'm sure he's like, oh, okay, like everyone knows my character's gonna be drunk. Let me play a drunk person. This whole scene is so chaotic with the pool party. There's just so many different things going on.
Yeah. So what ends up happening at the auto show is that they find the movie, and also that assassin is also there that tried to kill Holland or March's daughter, and so they have a big shootout. And the nice guys are trying to secure the movie, and at the same time, there's an assassin there that's trying to kill them, and also the head of General Motors, who is exposing everyone to all this smog, is trying to get the film as well. So it's like three people fighting at once.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is pretty wild that the head of General Motors is there and he's like actively getting involved and he's like, we have to get that roll of film. And
that was a good Richard Nixon impersonation.
we have to get that roll of film.
We have to get that
film. Because if I were like the CEO of a company, I would try to pretend that I have no involvement in that whatsoever. But this dude's like, no, like I need that film. We need to sell GM cars forever. And they still do. And they have been for a while now.
Bitches. I own a GM car. No, I don't.
We both own Chinese cars. Or sorry, wait. Japanese
cars. Oh, and they also made, and that's so funny you say that because at the end, March, Ryan Gosling's character does say like, this doesn't matter. In the end, Japanese cars are gonna win and everyone's gonna own them. Mark my words. And then it's just a call to modern day how everyone does have a Japanese car.
They're so reliable.
I love my Toyota.
It's funny because there's a meme that I just thought about where it's a TikTok meme where this guy pulls up because I still am very into Tacoma trucks. Okay. I really want to get a Tacoma truck, and they take a screen grab from this movie that Russell Crowe is in, where he plays like a road rage driver, and he's in a truck. And there's a screen grab. Movie? Yeah, okay. It's semi-recent. I think it came out like 2 years ago or a year ago.
I think I've heard of it.
And it's a scene. It's a screen grab where he's in sunglasses. He's kind of like leaning out of the truck like that. And the meme is this guy pulls up in his Tacoma next to someone in a Ford Raptor or a Ford F-150, and he goes, "Oh, nice little Japanese truck, buddy. I bet that thing doesn't really pull any power, does it?" And then the guy looks over to him and he goes, "Yeah, but it'll last longer than your piece of shit truck." And then, because like one screen grab is like he's very casual looking over it, and the next screen grab he looks all serious. He's like, "The fuck did you say?" He goes, "Nothing." And he like rolls up the window. But it's funny how we're talking about Japanese cars and Russell Crowe, and we're watching The Nice Guys, and then there's that meme about. Or someone made a meme about Russell Crowe's character in that movie.
Maybe he took that role because of this movie. He wanted a redemption or something. Or wanted to double down. And double down. All right. So, okay. So, this all ends up... What ends up happening is they get the film. They prove that Amelia's mom is behind this big cover-up. And they end up winning. So you think. Amelia's mom gets arrested. She gets sent to prison. But at the end of the day, the corporations are going to continue like fucking over people as they always did. But what's nice about all this is that March and Healy find out that they work well together. So they end up opening a agency together and they establish The Nice Guys. And what should have been a fucking sequel to this awesome ass movie does not happen. And that's a fucking bummer.
Yeah. There was like some speculation that they were going to make it in. Well, so, unfortunately, the movie bombed. The movie did not do well. Critics really liked the film. Not a lot of people want to go see this. it honestly got beaten up by Trolls. It was a
Fucking Justin Timberlake, son of a
it
bitch.
was a hard it was definitely a hard opening, and so they there was so much fan love for this film that Shane Black, I think he met up with some people and they talked about doing like a TV series,
Oh, that would have been so
but
cool.
the studio that was going to release it didn't want it to be Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. They wanted it to be two female-led characters,
Oh, okay.
and it just never. I don't know if it's like put on like a shelf somewhere and they're thinking about it, but it just never.
Never took off.
Yeah, never took off.
That's a shame. I would have watched anything as long as Shane Black or the same writers are a part of it, because this movie's just so fucking hilarious. It's good.
I don't know. Have you seen The Predator?
Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe I was a little hyperbolic there.
No, yeah, like I would love to see something like this with the same concept, whether it be the same characters or the same universe, or I don't like using that word universe, but
Universe, MCU universe.
yeah,
Well, how do you feel about MCU? No, let's not go down this rabbit hole.
yeah,
Never
let's not
mind.
go down that. But yeah, it's so weird because I talk to people that have seen this movie and everyone genuinely likes it.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just such a fun time to watch this. Um, yeah, I love this movie. Okay, well, we've already told you guys what we think of the movie, but let's still give it a rating. Emilio, out of a 1 to 5 rating, what score would you give this? I think this is the way we should do it from here on out. Is give a final summary first. How do you feel about this movie, and then give it your rating.
Well, I do love this movie. I think it's has moments of great comedy, moments of great drama. Action is very stop and go, but the film as a whole and the story as a whole is just so cohesive and it all just flows so well. So that's what I like about it. I'd give it a 5 out of 5. That was a really buzz explanation.
I like it. Yeah, I think that it's very funny. A trope about action comedy movies is that the action really stops and it starts. And I think that you'll see that a lot in The Nice Guys, that the action just stops and starts. But the acting's really good. The writing's really good. I really like the characters, which is very so far from what we've seen in other Ryan Gosling movies. I don't like the characters. It's very watchable. I would watch this movie a bunch of times. And also, if I had a friend who never watched it and we're hanging out, I'd be totally down just to throw it on. Not to say that should be like a marker for quality, just that something's watchable, but it's very fun. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 too. I like it a lot. So far, I've given every movie we've watched 5 out of 5, but I mean it wholeheartedly. This one's a 5 out of 5.
Not the fracture.
I did.
Wait, did you really?
I give it a 5.
Oh shit! Oh, okay.
Kind of as a joke, but still, Ryan Gosling's in it. So 5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, in the pantheon of Ryan Gosling movies, what would you give this one?
Oh, this is an S tier.
Why?
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 Oh, well, this does really stretch out what Ryan Gosling can do as an actor, especially like in the comedy aspect. And it's just fun to watch him on screen. Like every time there's something big going on, his character is always doing something that's always like captivating. And this is one of the first films where he steps out of like that role of being like a serious kind of quiet person into kind of loud, dumb, but also very heartfelt.
Yeah.
And he plays that very well on here, and he really bounces off of Russell Crowe's character very well. So yeah, I would say this is definitely one of the top performances.
I would also give this S tier as well. I have no doubt that if people watched this before it was announced that he would be in Barbie, they would have automatically been like, "Yeah, Ryan
Oh
Gosling's
yeah,
gonna fucking kill that shit. He's so funny." Um, his comedy timing is really good. He's super funny. He has no problem playing a person who is a loser. There, which just sounds funny, but like there are so many actors out there that take themselves way too fucking seriously,
yeah.
like a certain person called The Rock, and refuses to play roles where he loses or gets beat up or whatever. And Ryan Gosling is totally down for that. Um, and yeah, he's so good in this. So this is an S tier movie. I think this is definitely one you have to have in your repertoire if you're a Ryan Gosling fan. Okay, last thing. The mission statement of this podcast. Literally him. Are we literally him? Do you literally see yourself as Holland March?
I do right now.
Why?
I'm pretty buzzed. uh, yeah, he's funny. I'm funny.
That's true.
Um, he does have kind of like this drive, like a no quit.
Drive.
Just
What?
this kind of like drive, like no quit mentality. I definitely don't drink a lot. Dead air.
Big silence right there for both of us.
I don't drink as much as this character does.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do see a lot of myself in him that I guess I couldn't say that I really can't describe unless like you watch it and you've seen me buzz. I would say like at least 75%.
That's not bad. I think this character is incredibly likable. He is a person who's experienced trauma. He's a person who like will not get doesn't want to get better. But then again, he does have a daughter. She turned out all right. He has a successful job. He does have a lot of dumb luck. I truly feel like I'm a person who's had a lot of dumb fucking luck. So yeah, I'm gonna give myself. I can see myself as literally him, as a good like 65%. I think that I'm a person that has lucked out a lot, and I do like to drink. So there you go. I can't imagine this whole. Okay, so we've been like, speaking for myself, I've been buzzed this whole time. I can't imagine holding a job and being buzzed. All we have to do is talk into a fucking microphone about a movie we like, and I don't think I did a good job.
It's kind of hard. I've been buzzed like at the brewery, like working behind the bar, and it's very like the beginning is so like, oh yeah, like you're loose and everything's fun
My
and
butthole's
oh
loose.
definitely that. Like you're talking to people and then like you're vibing off everybody, and then you're like, oh, I'm coming down now. Oh shit, this sucks. I have like what 3 more hours of this? Oh fuck, this
Jesus
sounds
Christ.
terrible. And then you get to the finish line and you're like, I want to go home.
God damn. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of Literally Him. We hope to see you next time. I'm your co-host, Joseph.
And I'm Emilio.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.